Who are you, Blues fan? We're bleeding blue with you. Let's go, Blues! Let's go, Blues! Let's go, Blues!
Presented by Scott Credit Union. Yours.
BlueNote Fan Report is coming to you on the eve of the NHL season. Kinda, sorta. Actually, there's already been 2 games played. They played the European series already. Nashville's leading the whole league. They got 4 points, 1,000 win percentage, and San Jose is in last, and everybody else is in the middle. The Blues are the last team this season to play. Unfreaking real that we're the last team to play. Let's go Blues. Really, it's interesting, and here's the thing. And I'm really shocked that the NHL Network, at least if it's been there, I haven't seen it. But there's been nothing about what happened yesterday. There were 2 events that happened on social media yesterday that in some way rocked the NHL. One of them much more than the other one, but they both have their same weight. We'll talk about it a little bit. Now, the one that affects St. Louis the most is the Ian Cole situation, right? The other one is I'll talk about it a little bit. I don't want to get too much into it. Wayne Simmons said something about it and kind of came out. A reporter probably said something he shouldn't have said and had to deal with it, basically. But we might get into that if someone asks about it. But the Ian Cole thing, we'll definitely get into. The Blues roster is set. Some people are surprised, or you might be surprised, that Neighbors and Levo were optioned to Springfield, but that doesn't really mean they're going to Springfield. They're with the Blues in Carolina, and I think they're in South Carolina, in Charleston, and they are going to be on the Blues tomorrow. So I'll explain that a little bit later. But the roster set with those 2 exceptions, so to speak. There's a reason for that. We'll get into it. The big thing that happened over the weekend for the Blues, I don't know how big it is, but they finally cut bait on Kostin. I know Lance, I wish he was here, but he's not. Thought he would keep him, and I kept saying, I think it's time to cut bait. I think it's time to cut bait, and that's what they did. They traded for a defenseman from Edmonton that was drafted in the 3rd round. He got immediately sent to the minor leagues. Now, here's the thing with Kostin. He can't even play in Canada right now. He doesn't have the right visa, and they think it's going to take a couple of weeks. So he's going to start in the AHL. He's going to start with the Condors, I think it is. I forget the name of the team, but it's in California. They have a California team. Well, that's where he's going to start. Not much you can do about it. When it all comes down to it, it really is what it is. And that's, yeah, right? That's all that I can say about that. There's nothing else that I can really get into that other than, it was time. It was time. This was Kostin's last camp. And I said that. I thought it was Kostin's last camp, and he had to absolutely do the things that he needed to do to get on the roster, and he didn't. He didn't have a good camp, and he got bypassed by other people. Logan Brown bypassed him. Walker bypassed him. Alexandrov bypassed him. Right? This is Erickson Krieger. Says, glad Kostin is gone. I just, he didn't have a good camp. And you can't come in, but when, the Blues did what they could with him. Right? He just did not get it. He came in, and I think it's work ethic. I really do. Just from what I'm seeing and what I've heard, I think it's work ethic. No, I don't. I think that overall, that was a good trade. That was a good trade. When you think about it, we got Kostin and Sundqvist. And Sundqvist helped win the cup. Okay? Reeves didn't even last the whole year on Pittsburgh. And ended up getting traded to the Knights. And he went to the finals with the Knights. But I still think, and I don't know who they picked up in that. I'd have to look at go find the draft. But I think that overall, for me, that trade was a win for the Blues. I don't mind giving up Reeves in that instance. And not only that, we gave up Reeves and we got, oh man, the St. Louis kid. Oh man, I can't believe I just blanked out. Jake Neighbors is going to make the team. He's actually on it. He's listed on the team. Or no, he got optioned, but he's going to be on the team. I think I said that wrong. Pat Maroon, that's it. I couldn't spit it out. Pat Maroon. We got Pat Maroon, so Maroon filled that role. Chris Shockley thought Kostin would last till the deadline, but defense injuries kind of forced it. I don't even think it was that. To be honest with you. I think it was I just think that when it came down to it, because the guy we got, I don't see him coming up. He's had one game, and it was against the Blues, and the Blues scored 2 goals on him. He made mistakes that allowed 2 goals for the Blues. So, in all actuality, I don't feel like this is a superior type loss, or that's, this was a superior gain for the Blues in that situation. I'm trying to do something here real quick. Try this. I want to pull this guy up on Hockey Reference and see what they I just think that this was, it's not worth the time with Kostin. And not only that, he would take minutes away from guys in the AHL that want to be in the NHL and want to be on the Blues. And that's for me where I just don't think that Kostin was there. I just don't ever think he was there. Yeah, he's got one game and he was a -2. Right? He had 2 minutes and 28 seconds on ice. He played 2 minutes and 28 seconds and gave up 2 goals. Yeah. So he's got some work to do. He's got some work to do. Okay, I'm looking up the Kostin trade now. Actually, it's not on here. Gotta go here. I'm trying to see if they've got the results of this draft here. No, they're not showing, and I'd have to look it up on something else. But for me, I'm not. Sorry, guys. I just think that it was time to let go of Kostin. Right? It really was. He was from the 2017. Yeah. The same year we got Robert Thomas. Okay? We got Robert Thomas with the 20th pick. We got Kostin with the 31st pick. That's all you need to know. And we got Torpachenko with the 113th pick. So right there, in that draft, we got Thomas, Kostin, and Torpachenko. Look at what Torpachenko's doing. Right? I mean, I think for me, that says everything. That says everything. Okay, where are we at? I think you guys jumped up on me. Okay. I read that. Here we go. We traded Kostin for another Kostin, basically. Kinda. A defensive type. Colin Smith is saying, hi, hey, man, how are you? Are you surprised about Jake going down? He's not going down, though, Ryan. He really didn't go down. So what's going to happen, and I talked about that a little bit earlier, Kostin and Levo are still with the team. Tomorrow, at the start of the season, when the season officially starts, teams can put guys on LTIR and get their full cap back. Well, as soon as they do that, they're going to put, they're going to put Prunovich and Scandella on LTIR. That opens up 2 roster spots. And then Neighbors and Levo will get both of them, or possibly Levo gets sent down and Aladranzov comes up. Right? I'm with you. I thought Kostin would be good too. I was talking about that, and I hope you heard me there, Clem or Colin. I just don't think that he ever wanted to. Right? He just did no work ethic. Right? No work ethic. I'm so proud of Torpachenko. The guy's talking, taking advantage of the opportunities to be great. Yeah, he is. And he's done it from the get-go, Ryan. Torpachenko has done it from the very beginning. I liked the torpedo as soon as he stepped on the ice. I was like, wow, watch that kid go. And he's tall, he's big, right? I want to get back to that original trade. Let me here. Let's see if I can pull this up. I know we traded a first-round pick and Reeves for Sundqvist and the 31st overall pick. Right? We went up and got Thomas, and then we dropped down again. I'm almost sure of that. Right? Here we go. The Pittsburgh Penguins' first-round pick went to St. Louis as a result of a trade that sent Ryan Reeves and a second-round pick in the 2017 51st overall to Pittsburgh in exchange for Oscar Sundqvist and the 31st overall pick. So they ended up getting the 51st pick in this, and the 51st pick was Zachary Lazan. Zachary Lazan, a Canadian kid. And let's see, I don't know if he's got, and he's never been up. He's never been up. So we got the better end of that deal. We absolutely got the better end of that deal. I like that he has 13. I'm not a fan of, I don't mind the big numbers. Right? I don't mind the big numbers. I think that I think numbers are interesting, right? You gotta understand. See, a lot of the lower numbers are gone on most teams, right? I mean, they had those greats that have taken those lower numbers. So how many of you guys are really looking forward to the season? Right? What are your expectations for this season? I was hoping somebody was going to join me tonight, but I guess not. I guess I'm all alone by myself, making your ears hurt because I'm singing and no one wants to listen to me. Hey, it is what it is, you know. For me, I'm just okay. I'm okay with. I think so. I've been watching, checking out some of the prediction shows and things like that, and there's actually people out there that think that the Blues are not going to make the playoffs. The Blues are not going to make the playoffs. Kenny, how you doing down under, mate? Thank you. Nice to see you, bud. And I don't get that. I don't get that. You look at all these teams that made all these changes, and some of these teams lost a lot of guys, and then they turn around and go, oh, but they're so much better. The Blues made no changes. They lost two guys. And one, I think and both of them, everybody's putting way too much importance on. Way too much, right? First of all the importance that they're putting on, oh man, Josh, I think we're going to win the division. I really do. I think that, again, look at this team. And you have to go, what really changed? Okay? During the preseason, and yes, I know preseason, the power play was right about 22%. A little lower than it was during last year, but close, right? The penalty kill was in the 90s. They allowed two goals in 8 games, 2 power play goals in 8 games. They were 18 for 20. And I think, 18 for 20 or maybe even higher than that. I think it was 18 for 25. Or no, 23 for 25, right? 92%. 92%. Yeah, I don't get that either. I think Minnesota's, going to be in a lot of trouble, right? I think Colorado, they're not coming in with a chip on their shoulder. They're not. And they had a turnover. And the guys they brought in, you don't know how well they're going to gel, right? You're right. We were the only team. We were tied for the best special teams in the league, right? We were tied for it. I call it overall special teams, right? And that takes into account net power play, net penalty kill, and adds them together. And net takes into account shorthanded goals for and against. So it's your overall, what your penalty kill, what your special teams do. The Blues were the best in the league, tied with the Rangers, I think it was. This was a very, very good team, special teams. Okay, they lost Perron. Got it. But it doesn't, you still have Kyrou, you have Thomas, you have Neighbors. I think Neighbors has that one-timer that he could develop this season. Right? And I gotta be, Neighbors surprised me. I did not think Neighbors would make this team. I thought they would send Neighbors down, but he's made this team. I think there's guys out there that are gonna help this team and make up for what you lost with Perron. I really do. You didn't lose anything in the locker room. And watch that fourth line this year. That fourth line that we had during the preseason was as good as, if not better, than the fourth line we had during the Stanley Cup run. I will say that. Brad, the only way you're going to watch it is ESPN. Well, you're up in Canada, so in Canada, I think you have Sports Nation might have a plan or something like that. But I can't show the game. I show the game, I get banned. Right? I watch the games either on Bally through a friend or I have NHL Center Ice. Right? That's the only way, bud. And not only that, we're going to be the third game that Columbus plays. And they're playing us on back-to-back nights. I'm hoping that the Blues are smart and they don't get too high for opening night. I'd like to see them be ready, be in tuned, and go out there and have a chip on their shoulder. Now, here's the other thing that I think everybody's missing about last season and this season. I think everybody. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Chris. I absolutely agree with that. Now, here's the thing that I think everybody has just missed. Goaltending. Everybody has put such a premium on Husso and his 2.21, but they don't look at him at the back half of the season. Right? They look at only the first part where he was really good, but then he got figured out and he wasn't really good. He was not good in March and April. He was not. And I've showed those numbers before. I think he was like a 2.6. I mean, that's why I just think that he was the benefit of a product that didn't trust him and played a different style of defense because they didn't trust him. They tightened it up. They didn't do their offense. And not only that, look at this team on offense. Other than 2 games, I think they scored. I mean, they were scoring left and right. Left and right. They had, let's see, they had 4 goals, 5 goals, 4 goals, 4 goals. Right? Then they had that loss. I think it was like a 4-1 loss. Then they had like a 5-2 win or a 4-2 win. They had the 7-0 loss and the 6-0 win. Right? This is a team that can score goals. And it's not going to take a lot to tighten that defense up. And if Bennington is back, and I think he is, he gave up 2 freaking goals in the preseason. 2. 1.0 goals against average. Yes, preseason. Yes, the last game was against the Blackhawks, who just flew in, and I get that. But still, man, I think it was just there. I am still against the Chicharron trade. I do not think that I don't want him. I don't think he's going to help this team. I don't. I think that here's the problem with Chicharron. What you have to give up to get him. You have to give up way too much to get him, and it's almost like a Butcher deal. Right? And I'm not comparing him to Butcher. I know, but it was to get Garth Butcher, who the coach and GM wanted, he had to give up a whole scoring line. Well, that made no sense. For everything that Butcher brought you, he lost. I don't know if he's injured or not. I honestly don't know. Chris, I'd have to look. I don't know. I can go check something out here real quick. Give me a second. Wow, I'm looking at all these picks that Arizona has over the next couple of years. Wow. A lot of second-round picks. Chicharron. Yep, he's listed. He's on IR. He is on IR right now. So, yeah, there you go. The guy that you guys want. And again, $4.6 million for 3 more years. And you have to give up to get that. And they want a lot more than that. Right? They want a lot more than that. They're looking for 4 picks. I mean, four high-end guys. And that's just absolutely ridiculous in my eyes. Right? Just absolutely ridiculous in my eyes that they want that much money. And it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy to me that they want that. I'm not there. I'm not there. I'm not sold that you get him without it. Right? I just don't see it. Yeah, I got that. Frank Savelli has us getting him in December. That's the best contract in the league. I see, Josh. I don't think so. They want too much for him. They want way too much. Right? And that's not a bad, be honest, it's not a bad contract. Right? It's not a bad contract. But, somebody was telling me, talking about him in the 2000, in the bubble playoffs, how great he did against Colorado. And I think he was like a -6. Yet he dominated him. That didn't make sense to me. I think he had a point or 1 point or 2 points, something like that, in 6 games. It really, it wasn't this great series. I wasn't sold on him, guys, and I'm still not. I'm just not sold on him. I'm sorry. I know you wish I was. I'm sure you absolutely wish I was, but I can't get behind him. I just don't. And I'm looking up his playoff history right now. He may not return this season. Chicherin may not return this season, according to Jose M. Romero. Well, that's out. That right there, ankle injury. Right? I'm looking for postseason. Here we go. 1920. Let's metrics. NHL extra. Hold on. I'm getting there. Here we go. 1920. He played in 9 games. Right? 9 games. Was a -4. Had 1 point. -4. Had 1 point. Let me see if I can look at this. See if it shows more. Got to get into the postseason stuff. Playoffs. No, wrong one. Hit the wrong thing. Okay, but see, and first of all, I mean, it looks like he's going to be injured all year. So that's out. And again, why do that? Why do that? Right? Yeah, just not for me. Just not for me. He had no goals in that playoff, bud. He had no goals in that playoff. I was just looking at the stats, just looking at them. Hey, Lance, how you doing, buddy? We're talking about Chicherin. Wendy. Hey, Wendy. Yeah, ankle injury, having spurs removed. Well, opening night, I'll be at the Drury Inn watching the home opener on my iPad. Hey, at least I'll have a beer. Oh, man, why are you not there? He had a goal in the Avs series. Look again. It was okay. I'm gonna look again. I did not see that. I'm going right now. looking at him. Give me a second. I'm going to look, bud. I think you were the one that were telling me that about him having this great period. Okay, he did have one goal. I said an assist. He had one goal, and he was -4. Okay? One goal and was -4. He had a power play goal. You're correct. I looked at it wrong. I apologize. Right? But one goal on 18 shots. I just, guys, it's not for me. It's not for me. He's not for me. I just don't think that he's, and if he's out all year, what does that help us? Josh, you know what? I think there's better options. And we may not need him. And be honest with you, we may not need him. Right? Parayko has looked good. Right? Okay, maybe that is. Maybe at his price, that's a good price. But what they want for what it costs to get him, is he better than Ryan O'Reilly? Because you got to give up what you gave up for Ryan O'Reilly to get him. More or less. Actually, they want better than that. They want more than what you gave up for Ryan O'Reilly. Right? Lance has talked about this. They want basically four first-round picks. Right? Well, Wendy, you'll have to check it out. I haven't been paying a lot of attention to it, to be honest with you. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that, Josh. I mean, I'm not sold on. Well, I mean, he did have a couple of injury years. Here we go. Okay. So in his career, right? Parayko's a +70. Right? He was a +16 last year. You guys got on him and he was a +16. He had 6 goals, 29 assists, 35 points, and he was injured. Right? He can get you 10 goals. He can get you 30 assists. He can get you 40, 45, 50 points. If he can stay in a plus, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Right? I'm not. I think he's better than you're letting on. I think that you guys expect him. So what you guys expect of a defenseman now is more of these high-scoring defensemen, and that's not what he is. But he's a guy that keeps the puck out of the net, and that's what's important. Okay, that's fair, but I don't think he was supposed to be the next Alex Pietrangelo, right? And I think that might have been an unfair expectation, to be honest, right? Yeah, they want $8 million people for $4.5 million guy. Yeah, not what I'm thinking of, not what I want to give up, right? I want to see if I can get either Lance or Wendy, because I don't want to talk about this the Ian Cole thing alone. I'd rather have somebody else with me, but it is something that needs to get talked about, because I've done a little bit of research, and I have a feeling that this happened while he was a Blue, right? I hate to say that, but based on what I read in the letter that was out there, the time adds up. Lance is coming on. Good. I sent Wendy a link too. Sent you a link, Win. Yeah. Yeah, that was your big bats got to come play, man. Well, actually, that game one loss was on the manager. Ollie Marmol blew that. Right? Absolutely blew that. And then Ariano and Goldie just didn't hit. Don't know about where that's coming from there, bud. I'm happy with the team we have. I really am. Right? I didn't see Kostin making the team. I said that. I didn't see Alexander making the team, but he came out of nowhere. I don't think he will. I think he'll stay. Well, let's welcome Mr. Lance to Scott from the drop. Hey, Lance, how you doing, buddy?
Something's going on with my volume here.
Okay. Give Lance a sec.
Dang it, give me a second. I don't know what's going on here. I'll have to get back on. Give me a second.
Okay, he'll be right back. I'm looking for something here real quick, guys. So we should get Lance right back. Where am I looking for? No, I can't see where. Well, I know there's a thing to make it go away, but I just can't find it right now. Let's try this, see if Lance comes back. You there, Lance?
I don't know what's going on. My phone ain't picking it up. Give me a second.
Okay, no problem. So he was waiting. I did send Wendy a link, so I think he will. I am not muted. I'm still here. I haven't sounded muted in my ears. Jason Nichols, thanks for putting that thumb in the air. I appreciate it, my friend. I appreciate it. Yeah, that was bad. I will agree with you. That was that was just not what you want to do when you're it's not what you want to do when you come in like that. Still waiting on Lance on, so give him a second. He'll figure it out, I'm sure. Technical difficulties. It wouldn't be my show if it wasn't. I know I sent Wendy a link. Yep. Send him the link. I'm not sure about that. You got to be careful with so see, Josh, the thing with trades is it's you got to look at what you have to give up to get. Right? And what we would have had to give up, would it have hurt us in the long run? Would that one player have made up for what you gave up? That's my thing with those deadline deals. You have to look at that. And okay, Sato's bat might have helped, but would it have helped with the manager? You know, not having a relief pitcher up in the ninth inning, having a pitcher who had a dead arm. You know, there was a lot of things there there's a lot of things there that, I just don't. Yeah, but who would you give up for? Who would you given up for him? Right? What did he give up? Didn't they give up a bunch? Right? I thought they had to give up a bunch for him. So I'm not sure on that. I'm not a big fan of trades. I'm really not. I think if you're going to do a trade, it's got to be a neutral trade or a win trade, right? And it's got to somehow be even up, right? Like, and I've talked about it. The O'Reilly trade, yes, great trade. We won it. I still don't like it. I still think we gave up too much to get him, right? I really do. We gave up 5 players to get him. 3 players, 2 picks. Now, in all actuality, only one of those players panned out for Buffalo. Only one, right? But but when it all comes down to it, it still was too much. He was not a 5-for-1 player. O'Reilly was not a 5-for-1 player, right? I think you could have held that 2nd round pick and maybe Laterra or not Laterra, Bergeron, and traded Bergeron somewhere else. Bergeron in that pick somewhere else for something else. I wasn't there. Hey, Wendy, how you doing, bud?
Doing all right.
All right. We might have Lance. Let's see if we got him back. Lance, are you with us?
Yeah, something's going wrong with my stuff, so I'm here.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Well, I want to talk about what happened yesterday. The NHL had 2 major events happen yesterday in the negative. One more than the other. I'll talk about the second one first, the lower end one. And I can't remember the name of the reporter. I think it was Simmons. And I don't know who he reports for, but he made a comment about Akim Aku and it came out really wrong, right? And it came out almost racist. And Simmons from Montreal said something about it. And it's just, in and of itself, not a big thing. But this came on the heels of the big one. On Friday, an anonymous tweet was sent out, and I understand why the person remained anonymous, sent out a tweet with a letter. And in this letter, she accused Ian Cole, former Blue, of grooming and sexual assault. Now, first of all, innocent until proven guilty. Plain and simple. Everything is alleged. Nothing is in stone. Okay? Everything is alleged. We don't know everything. However, based on that letter, she said that he had been a pro for a couple of years. To me, that puts him right about 13, 14, 15. So it could have been during the time he was with the Blues. What are your guys' thoughts on this right now? I'll start with you, Wendy.
Well, really, you can't put into what team he was with, because he's a player who's been bounced around in this NHL now. And the fact that how it read, it sounds disgusting if Cole actually did this. Mm-hmm. And if Cole actually did this, he should not be allowed back in the NHL. And frankly, he should be blacklisted from playing professional hockey at this point.
Well, if he did this, I don't know what the statute of limitation is, but it's say again.
It could depend on what country it took place in too. Isn't Cole Canadian?
No, he's American. He's from Minnesota.
Okay.
This probably happened. So what I'm looking at is she said that he had been a pro for a couple of years.
Okay.
Right? He got drafted in 2007, had a cup of coffee with the Blues in 2010, 2011, and I think half a season in 2012. But
he only played 15. He only played 15 games in 2012.
Okay, but he was full time with them in 12 or 13, 14.
Nope, he never played more than 54 games with the Blues.
Yeah, but he was the seventh defenseman, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he wasn't there every single night.
I don't think he was up and down those 2 years. I think he was either on the ice or in the press box.
He was a healthy scratch a lot.
Yeah, but he was with the Blues.
Yep.
So he was not down in the minors. He was on the Blues 23-man roster.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It could have happened in 15. I don't know. She doesn't give any specifics, but she did say something that heavily concerned me. And what she did say was that former teammates had come up to her and told her that he had told about this in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Well, if he had talked about this in the locker room, and you're talking about something that is akin to being accused of statutory rape, basically,
Mm-hmm.
right? Depending on what age of consent is and whatever state he was and how old she was, right? Because in some states, the age of consent is actually 16 if you're under a certain age, right? Like if you're under 20, the age of consent is 16. I don't know. So we don't know what state it happened is.
It's different in every state. It's different, and it matters where you're at the time.
Yeah, but the fact that nobody, I don't know, because you know what, I come from, and I want to say this and I don't want it taken wrong. Please understand, I come from a military background, a locker room mentality, a birthing mentality. When guys talked about stuff like that, and no, we didn't talk, if someone had talked about something illegal, that's different, but that was talked about all the time. And many times in reverence. Guys hide stuff. He may have said that he was doing it, but he didn't say that I don't think he said that she was in high school. We don't know that, but it's possible. There's things that need to be said like that. So, but still, this could have reverberations throughout the whole league. This guy was on what, 5 teams, 6 teams? Right? He was on St. Louis. I can think of 4 right off the top of my head. Or 5.
Carolina was
Pittsburgh.
Carolina was the 6th.
What?
Carolina was the 6th.
Well, he's on Tampa too.
Yeah.
So here's the list of teams.
He's on Tampa right now. He's not. He hasn't started.
Go ahead.
He played for St. Louis, Pittsburgh, Columbus, Colorado, Minnesota,
Carolina, and now
Carolina,
Tampa.
And then he signed his contract with Tampa this year and got
7.
suspended indefinitely.
Yeah, 7 teams. Now I think that was the right move. But I also am concerned about it. Right? And God, this isn't. It's an anonymous post, and I don't know how much of it's been backed up. I know they're going to do an investigation, but at the same time, innocent until proven guilty, right?
Yeah, and here's my thing. My thing. I don't know if she did this. The very first thing she should have done is went to the league first. She should have went to the league first, said, I'm going to put out something. If something's not looked into, this is what happened to me. This is how it happened. These are the years it happened. This is what he did. Can you please look into it? I don't like it when people put out something anonymously without going first forward to like a league or to an employer or whatever to get it taken care of. I'm not saying he didn't do it. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is everybody is so quick to jump to judgment, and we forget that lately in this country, people are guilty and still proven innocent. I fully agree. He should be suspended pending the investigation.
Yeah. Well, as long as he's suspended, and I hate to say this, but suspended with pay.
Right? Yeah, he should be suspended with pay because it's not been proven.
Yeah. Right. I just think that I don't know. It's a difficult situation, plain and simple. No matter how you look at it, it's a difficult situation. if you speak out against it, you can be called things and you can be looked at. Look, it was not done right. I will say that. And I'm sorry. I get why she may have done it this way. I get it. She's protecting herself, but there's other ways to protect yourself. Right? An anonymous letter to the league might have been a better way to do this. Right? Something that it could have been investigated differently. Now, here's the thing, and Lance, I get what you're saying, but the league office is a sieve.
Well, that's fine. If she doesn't get what she wants from them, then she does something like this. That's not what I'm
talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about her name. Right? She straight up said
it's going to get out anyway. Her name is going to get out anyway. I guarantee it.
Name won't. It's a protection act. If they don't want to be named, her name is protected under the statutes. She won't. I can't see the person's name being ever announced who it is.
Yeah.
Because it's a statute. Oh, what's going on here? Hang on.
I just, with the way media is today, somebody will leak it.
Yeah, I don't think they will, because you're liable. Then you're liable to a huge lawsuit. You know, there's some things here that you got to be careful of. You have to be really careful of, because I think if a reporter, I'm sorry, if I was reporting on this and I knew her name, she would be Jane Schmo or Susan Schmo or whatever it is, or Jane Smith. She would not, and I would never divulge her name. Right. And even in writing the article, I would make sure that anything that was done that could possibly, be linked to her, not put in the article. Right. Be careful about saying what cities things happen in or where things happen and stuff like that. But I think that it's important that it's heard. There is a culture, a locker room culture in the NHL that has to change.
There's a locker room culture in every pro sport, men's pro sport. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying that, like you said, Guy, being in the Navy, stuff gets said and it just gets blown by. A lot of times guys don't pay attention to it, or that they may think the guy's joking, or maybe they fully understand what he's doing and didn't say a word about it, which is terrible.
Well, here's, you just brought up, when you said that, I thought of something. We had a gentleman, and I don't remember his name. I don't remember the whole specifics of this. We had a guy on our ship, and this is, right about, in the early 2000s, I think it was, when the, what did you send me, Wendy?
This happened last night.
Oh, yeah, that one. I forgot about that one. Yeah, I didn't get into that. The Condors, right? We had a guy that got caught in a sting, talking to somebody that he knew was underage. Went on leave, got arrested in Georgia, I think it was, or something like that. When the word got out of the ship, one of the guys that I knew, one of his friends, and because he was a friend of mine, told me, see, I didn't know what the guy was, told me that he used to call him, if he was a petty officer, he called him pedophile officer. And I didn't hear that. And when one of the chiefs heard him say that, they pulled him aside and talked to him about it. They originally put him up on charges. Right? They put him up on charges for not saying anything. This was after Tailhook. I remember Tailhook. I was around for Tailhook. This was long after Tailhook. But they put him up on originally put him up on charges. And luckily he was able to get out of it. But, when you hear stuff like that, you gotta, if you hear something that you're concerned about, it's got to be brought up, right? It's got to go up the chain of command, right? And you know, it's the Kyle Beach. He went up the chain of command. The chain of command did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
This person has not gone up any chain of command, so the chain of command hasn't had a chance to react. Right? I'm not sure. Now, the Condor thing, the one that Wendy just sent me, the Condors are Bakersfield Condors.
They're
Earlier
the
today, we
affiliate
became
to
aware.
the Oilers.
Say again?
They're the affiliate to the Edmonton Oilers.
Okay, this is where Kim Kostin got sent to. Earlier today, we became aware that the Bakersfield Condors head athletic trainer, Chad Drown with a D? D-R-O-W-N?
Yeah, Drown.
Has been charged with a very serious felony offenses related to contacting a minor to commit a sexual offense in the state of California. We are shocked and dismayed by the news, and Mr. Drown has been relieved of his duties immediately.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people, you know, want to blame sports, and, you know, there's a culture, like you said, Guy, there's culture within sports, but this problem goes far beyond sports. I mean, because there's a lot of men that do this kind of stuff that aren't in sports that never get caught, and it's just sad. And, you know, to do something and take advantage of someone like that is, it to me, you are the scum of the scum of the scum if you do stuff like that. And if Ian Cole is proved that he did this, he needs to go to jail. And, you know, because I think the statute of limitations in most states is 20 years. But he does. I mean, don't you guys agree? If he did this, he needs to spend some time in jail.
Yeah, you know, I think that
if it's as bad as it looks, you know, there's no going back from that. He needs to be severely punished.
Well, I don't doubt what she says. I just have to caution that it's only one side of the story.
Yep.
You know, and there's three sides to every story. There's my side, there's your side, and there's a truth that lies somewhere in the middle. And that's what I'm looking at. Where's the, you know, what is the overall truth? And I'm not blaming the victim. I'm not. But there are, there's more that needs to come out with this. There really is. And we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. And the problem is they're going to have a really tough time investigating this. Now, this person did tag NHL, Tampa Bay. She tagged Notre Dame, ESPN. I went and looked at it.
Yeah, and you know, I know women that have went through something like that, and they get so scared. And a lot of people will say, "Well, why didn't she say something when it happened?" Well, it's a very scary situation, and you're kind of in a damned if you do and damned if you don't situation. You know, it takes courage, and sometimes if a young girl doesn't have that courage, and sometimes a young girl maybe at that point in her life doesn't see anything wrong with it, and you know, she's got to be able to build up that courage to bring it up. And I don't want to hear anybody say that, well, why didn't she bring it up 8 years ago? Well, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter to me.
No, I'm with you on that one. I know I am with you on that one. I'm looking for something here real quick. Yeah, you know, when it comes down to that, you know, there's a lot of stuff that goes into that if you've been a victim of it, there are things that, you know, your mind goes through that really can mess with your head, and you know, you blame yourself, right? You blame yourself, and that might be some of this. And you know, I have some theories, and I don't want to go on what my theories are. Right? That's all I want to say on that. I can't remember. I was looking for something and I can't find it now. Figures.
Hey, and here's my question. There's a lot of guys that play for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 teams through their NHL career. I'm sincerely hoping that he didn't get moved. And I'm not saying he did or didn't, but I'm hoping he didn't get moved for something for those reasons. Because if he did, the NHL's screwed.
Yeah, that's my biggest concern. That is a big concern.
Yeah, because I've always thought, Ian Cole's not a top defenseman, but he's a pretty good, steady defenseman. Why does he keep going from team to team to team?
That is something to be concerned about. It really is. And I'm not. I don't know what else to tell you, bud. It's a serious situation.
Yep.
It could have some very huge reverberations throughout the league.
Because you know something, if they investigate this fully like they need to, do you know how many players and ex-players they're going to have to talk to that played with him in the league?
Oh, I know.
That's going to take probably a year or two just to get investigated. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I have the I pulled the letter up. She tagged the Lightning, the NHL, Sports Nation, the NHLPA, ESPN, Tampa Bay Times, Tampa Bay Now News, NBC Sports Hockey, University of Notre Dame, and Barstool Sports. Right? Those are the ones that she tagged. Sports Nation is Canada, right?
I don't know.
I think that's TSN. I think that's part of TSN. Right? I have daughters. When people feel guilty, they don't want to tell me, but yeah, it is. Right. So it's just it's a tough situation. All these situations, all of these, the NHL had a tough day yesterday, and all of these are bad situations. And I don't know how to change I really don't know how to change the culture, to be honest. I don't know what the NHL is going to do to change the culture. Right. Because it starts, way down in, juniors or regular hockey.
No, when it starts, when you're at home with your parents. Parents need to teach these boys what is acceptable, what's not acceptable, what's good, and what's not okay. And I think a lot of times parents, because a kid's gifted or because a kid does a certain thing great, they tend to skim over his bad dealings with things and getting himself in trouble. I've always thought that if somebody does this in their 20s, teens, 30s, whatever time they do it, something that their parents maybe didn't raise them right. And that's not always the case. But, if you've got good parents and they raise you right with good morals and what's right and what's wrong and how to treat a girl or woman, it's normally not going to happen.
You're talking about nature versus nurture, and I don't want to get into that.
No, I'm not trying to get it. I'm saying that it didn't just start with juniors. It didn't just start with high school, with college, whatever. Something started that down the road to get them to that point.
But I'm getting at the locker room, culture of the locker room. That's what I'm getting at. It's nature versus nurture, and it's, I think that I don't know. I have thoughts, and I don't know if it's the right place to go into them. Well, we're getting to, season's almost here. Tomorrow is actually the official opening day, I think, on ESPN. There's 2 games tomorrow. You have the Washington Capitals are at the Tampa Bay Lightning. And then the other game is the, I can't remember now. The Vegas Golden Knights at the Los Angeles Kings. So real quick, we'll do this before we cut out. Give me your top three for each division. I'll start with the Atlantic and go with Windy.
For the Atlantic, I was not quite ready to do the Atlantic here. Hang on, let me pull up the teams in the Atlantic.
Yeah, I got to do it too because I don't remember.
I have the teams. I just need to figure out real quick on standings wise.
Well, are you ready to go there, Lance?
Yep.
Go then. You go first, bud.
I'm going to do a shocker. I'm going to say the Senators. And it's you can swap either one of these teams, Florida or Ottawa. I think Ottawa's going to make a huge push, and they're going to be one of those top teams.
I could see that. Wendy, you got your three?
For the Atlantic, I'm going to have Tampa Bay, Florida, and Ottawa for the top three teams.
I'm with the Senators, but I have them as the wild card. I still have the Leafs in there. I have Florida and the Lightning with the Leafs.
I just think Tampa Bay, Toronto's goaltending even got worse than it was last year. That's why I have them not even making the top three.
But didn't they end up like 6th or 7th in the league overall?
They may have, but it doesn't matter. They still have one of the worst goaltending tandems for probably teams that are viewed as contenders, but they will never be a contender because they can't get out of the first round.
I mean, they're eventually going to get out of the first round.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
This team's a joke.
So let's go to the Metro. Wendy?
Metro, I have a surprising take on it, but I will say New York, and Columbus and the top three.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, I wouldn't have the Islanders there.
I have the Islanders at number 2, just because last year, yes, they had a bad season, but the thing was they were hindered hard with COVID. They had the worst start to the season because they had to start 25 out of 24 games all on the road.
Yeah.
So they had a rough start to the season last year, and I think they're going to be much better this year around.
What do you got you there, Lance?
Rangers, Columbus, Islanders.
See, I don't have Columbus up there. I think Johnny Hockey's going to help them, but not that much. I like the Rangers. I keep taking the Penguins out, thinking that they're finally going to have that dump. I think that they'll be third, and Carolina's going to end up winning that. Or second, right? I still think Carolina's got the wherewithal to do it. Okay, Pacific. Go with Lance.
This is so tough. I think the Kings. Oh God, Kings, Calgary, and Edmonton.
Yeah. What about you, Wendy?
Calgary, Edmonton, and Vancouver.
Oh, you got Vancouver jumping the Kings. I would put Vancouver. I think Vancouver's going to be in 4th, right? But I think the Ducks could come into 5th in that one, right? And I think the Ducks could make the playoffs in 5th. I still do. So we'll go to the Western Conference, and Wendy. I know I'll let Wendy go. I'll let Lance go first on this one again.
You mean the Central?
Yeah, Central. I'm sorry.
It's tough. I don't think Colorado's going to be as good as they were last year. I just think they lost too many pieces. And everybody thinks their goaltending's going to be better. I just don't know because he's never been a full-time starter yet. He's always been a guy that shares time. I honestly think no matter what certain people say, I keep hearing people say the Blues aren't going to make the playoffs, but they're that bad. I think this team is going to surprise some people, especially if Bennington plays well. And I'm not being a homer. I'm going to pick the Blues, Colorado, and Nashville.
That's not bad. Wendy?
I'll just show it.
Say again.
There.
Blues, Nashville, Colorado.
Oh, same.
No,
Right?
I picked Nashville third. He picked them second.
These are
Okay.
my this is actually from my graphic I made for my season preview.
Okay. Oh, Marianne's here as we're getting ready to go out. For me, I said it before, and maybe I'm totally out. I think that Colorado could miss the play, but I'll put him in third so I don't look like a total idiot. But I do think it's going to be St. Louis. And I didn't have the Predators as high, but I have switched on that. I think it'll be. I'm with St. Louis Predators. Colorado. But I could see Colorado drop out into fourth place and miss the playoffs.
I can't see it happening because the Central Division's so weak, and after Colorado, St. Louis, and Nashville, it's probably the weakest division in hockey.
Yeah, it's a toss-up after the third team.
Well, Minnesota could be a surprise in there.
They could, but the thing is with Minnesota, their cap situation killed that team. They don't know what they're doing after them buying out Parise and Suter killed that franchise.
Killed them. Yep.
Did you hold up a toy there, bud? I was looking at something else.
What?
No, that wasn't a toy. That was his phone, Jason.
This is my phone.
His draft picks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I basically created the standing predictions on my phone and then have
I use that
the
graphic.
Hawks dead last in the NHL. Then Coyotes battling for 31st in the NHL. Then Winnipeg, Minnesota, Dallas, Colorado.
I still think, and I backed off a little bit. I still think Winnipeg is going to surprise people.
That locker room guy is so dysfunctional, even still today. That locker room is terrible.
The Jets are a joke, especially hiring Rick Bowness as a head coach. They hired the wrong head coach for the situation that team's in. They stripped Blake Wheeler of the sea. The team has no direction of what they want to do. They have a player in Pierre-Luc Dubois who either wants to be out or wants to be paid what he's deserved.
Well, Josh, you say that we're the third best team, but here's my issue. Look at what we lost. We lost the least of every team in the division. We have the lead. We have more chemistry right off the bat than any other team in this division. It's almost the same. And Colorado, their goaltending, Francoeur, is hurt consistently.
How am I a homer?
Huh?
He's saying we are homers if we think otherwise. I'm not even a homer. I hate St. Louis. I'm a Blackhawk fan, and I have you guys at first place.
Yeah, there's something to be said about a team that goes all in at the beginning of the year. And that's what Colorado did last year. How many teams can do that two years in a row? Because you know what? I don't even think that I think that Tampa even didn't go all in 1920. But what they had was the bubble. That helped them. And then the short season helped them. But if they'd have gone, I don't know. I don't think if the bubble's there if they don't have the bubble, they don't win back-to-back cups. I honestly believe that. The bubble helped them a lot. They got healthy. They had other things going on. That, and then you look at the year before in 19 when they did go all in and got knocked out in the first round. Right? This team is not going to come in with that chip on the shoulder, up or bust. No, not every media has it, them winning by 20 points, and that's not going to happen.
And
right?
here's the
I'll tell you what. Real quick. They're The Athletic had put something out where they had said that the Blues were going to have like 92 points or something like that. But then they go, but every year the Blues blow by the metrics. Well, the metrics is wrong because the Blues, you're whatever you're using for the Blues is giving you a wrong connection because they keep exceeding it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They keep exceeding it. The Avs are not as great as you think they are.
Hey, here's the deal. I've watched a lot of interviews with Avs players, the ones that are still there, and not once have I heard them talk about how they are focused on getting another cup. How they all they talk about is they finally won the cup. Blah 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 blah. I just don't see that team being focused enough, and they've got several new players they're going to have to fit into a system. They've lost several players. And what did you and I figure out, Guy? They've lost 40 goals or 38 goals, something like that.
I think it's about 30 goals is what they
Yeah,
lost.
so it's not the same team, buddy. I'm glad that you're passionate about them too, but it's not the same team.
Yeah, no, I just, Josh, I think that, I just, for me, I just think that Georgiev is not they didn't have great goaltending in Georgiev, and no. Well, every media I follow has the Avs winning, so let's not blow smoke up our asses. I'll be glad to get 90 points. Well, you know what, Josh? I think you're wrong. I really do. I think the Blues are going to have a 100-plus point season. They have everything. So, Josh, tell me how they had 109 points with the exact same team last year. The exact same team. You're missing 2 players, and you've replaced those. The exact same team had 109 points. Colorado replaced 7 guys, and you say they're going to get more points. That doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I think Colorado's still going to be good. They're just not going to have the team they had last year. They're not as strong from the first line to the fourth line. They're just not.
I think Chicago can upset them on opening night.
It can realistically happen because anyone who has a banner raising ceremony knows this.
Mm-hmm.
It's your hardest game of the regular season.
Yep.
Because you're putting the target right on your back, putting a banner in the rafters. You're going to place a difficult task against yourself to win. 2010 Hawks lost on their banner raising ceremony.
Yep.
2013 Hawks won on their banner raising ceremony, but in overtime. 2015 lost on their banner raising ceremony.
Okay, how is this a retool year? You changed 2 guys. 2 guys. And you're calling it a retool year. Dude, this is the same team that had 109 points last year.
Yeah, and he's got a good point about they've got some young guys that they're going to get some minutes. But, let me ask you, Josh, are those young guys going to perform like the guys they're replacing? They may be just as good eventually or better. But it's tough to bring in young guys in a veteran team and have those leaders in there and expect them to be just as good as they were last year. Like I said, Josh, I like them, but they're just not as good. If you look at their lines, I actually think Nashville's going to compete with them very well. I think the Blues are going to compete with them very well.
Right? The Blues have got a good core of young talent, a good core of veterans.
Mixed with young talent.
Young, solid talent. And Kyrou and Thomas and Neighbors. And Neighbors is just young talent, right? But they've got the things. And then you've got some vets in there on that. They 1, 2, and 3. I'll put 1, 2, and 3 up against Colorado's 1, 2, and 3. Right? I'll put 1, 2, and 3 up against Colorado's 1, 2, and 3. I'll put Thomas up against who's that kid for Colorado that's going to end up being Newhook? I'll put Thomas up against Newhook. We're not that old. I don't think we're older than Colorado.
We're not.
Older than Colorado.
What?
You are much older than Colorado.
I don't think so. Right? I think that they're older than us by a lot, actually.
No, I don't know. I think it's
No.
pretty close. It's
The
pretty close.
Avs only have 2 players that are in their 30s.
Yeah.
They got more than that, don't they?
Nope.
And they got a couple players in the 30s, and then they have some guys from 25 to 29, and then they're trying to bring in some younger guys into their locker room.
Hold on a sec.
Yeah, the only thing that concerns me, and maybe I'm wrong, is the Blues fourth line. I'm still not an Akari guy. I'm just not.
I don't know. The fourth line had a great preseason. Right? And I know preseason, but still. Okay.
Yeah, if you remember last year, James Neal had a great preseason. Where did he end up?
True, but different style there. I was just looking at this. So they've got Cogliano's 35. Darren Helm is 36. Eric Johnson's 34.
Oh yeah.
I knew Eric Johnson was.
I thought they had 3 or 4.
So, and Dalton Smith is 30. So they got 4 guys that are over 30. Right? Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 5 guys. Because Landeskog is 30.
Yeah.
Right? They've got mid-range talent, but mid-range too. But I think the Blues. Oh, Manson's 31.
Yeah.
I missed him. Right? And this is as of February 1st. So I'm guessing that's last year. Or this year, February 1st of this year. So some of them could be even older. It's not, well, yeah, the age is given as of February 1st. So some of them could be a little older. They've had birthdays after that. Right? So, that's the way I look at it. Yeah, so Cogliano's 36 then. Just how I feel.
Yeah. You don't want to get on your show and lie. You got to tell people how you feel. I mean, look at Wendy. Wendy knows, and I think most people know, Chicago is just going to mail in this season and hope to get Jared Bednar. Everybody knows it. Yeah, every GM knows it. Everybody in the front office of the NHL knows it. And
That's
Wendy
why
knows
the
it.
Hawks have the lowest odds to even come out of. They have the highest payout if you go and bet on the Hawks to win the cup, even though we know damn straight that's not going to happen. If you bet on the Hawks, you guys, there is something wrong with someone. Honestly, maybe throw $1 just for fun at it.
A couple bucks.
Honestly, if anyone ever bets on the Hawks this year, they have no clue what the hell they know.
Well, Josh, we'll see. Stick with us. Hey, Josh, I don't think you were with me last year, but what I do during the season, I come on. So this year's going to be a little different, and I'll kind of talk about it real quick before we go away. It's not going to be 4 separate shows. It's only going to be 1 show, right? This show is going to continue running through the game. We'll cut out and show just a backing during the game, but you come right back to this stream once the intermission comes, and then we talk about the game. It'll be an hour pregame on Saturday, and I don't know how long the postgame will go. It'll see who we get. Hopefully we can get Lance on the pregame show, and Ashley can be there. I don't know yet. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the opening of the season. Wendy, you're looking forward to Wednesday, I take it?
Yeah, even though we probably get our butts kicked still.
Oh, what did you think of that game last weekend in St. Louis?
That's terrible.
Well, you know what? I felt bad for Chicago because they had to. They flew in that morning. Basically, what happened to them was what happened to St. Louis and Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
Right? St. Louis got delayed. They got there 45 minutes before it was supposed to be puck drop. So they went from the plane to the
Yeah.
stadium, got dressed, and then on the ice.
Yeah,
You know?
I don't think Wendy's got any games per se on his map. I mean, he might go to some games, but I think on his map he's got draft day. That's what he's looking forward to.
I have one game on my calendar circled, and that is November 20th in the United Center for Marian Hosa's banner raising ceremony.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
I will be in the United Center for that game.
Well, Josh, I disagree with you here. Wow, man. I don't see how you can say that, Josh. Again, you're looking at but I think this is a team it's not a first round team. Okay? They can beat anybody in the first round. They can beat anybody in the first round, and I think that they can win this division. I really do. Right? Look what they did to Minnesota. Everyone, you guys were writing them off. Oh, we're not going to beat Minnesota. The regular season doesn't matter. Regular season doesn't matter. Beat them in 6. 4 straight. 3 straight. Pardon me, 3 straight. Right? Beat them in 6, won 3 straight after they were up 2-1. We gave Colorado the hardest chance. We gave Colorado the best series they had. Bennington doesn't go out. There's a chance that I'm pretty sure that goes 7 games. And then who knows what happens.
Yep.
Right? And Bennington, he gave up 2 goals. 2 goals in the preseason. 1 against Arizona and 1 against Dallas. Or no, was it Dallas or was it Chicago? 1 against Chicago. I think that's it.
Yeah, he stopped, I think, 60 some odd shots during the season, I think.
No, it was like they were 20, I think they were 26 for 28. Right? I think that because he didn't face a ton of shots.
No, I was talking about the whole preseason. He stopped about 62.
Well, against Chicago, he faced 20. Did he face? I think it was 25 shots.
And the first game, I know he faced 26 shots.
He was only in 2 periods.
Yeah, he still faced 26 shots in that game. I was there.
Okay. So, yeah. So, I mean, he had like a 960 save percentage. And under just at a 1.0 goals against average. Right? Well, Josh, the playoff setup had more to do with that than that. And I just disagree with you, bud. Agree to disagree, my friend. I am not on board with you. Right? I am not on board with you. If you end up being right at the end of the season, I'll give you all the props in the world. Just make sure that if I'm right, you do the same thing. That's all I ask. Right? Well, guys, great show. See you tomorrow, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. We'll have a good one. There'll be games going on. We'll talk about what's going on. We'll see what else is what's happening with the Blues, if any more. Well, there'll be the roster moves tomorrow. So Neighbors and Levo will probably be on the team as Sundqvist and Prunovich go on LTIR.
Expect there to be some trades to happen, though, because there's still teams that are way over the salary cap.
Yeah.
And
we'll see what happens with LTIR tomorrow.
Oh, and Guy, we don't have to worry about Sundqvist anymore. You said Sundqvist.
Oh, Sundqvist? I meant Neighbors and Levo is who I meant. Neighbors. Right? Neighbors surprised me. I did not think he was going to make this roster, but he surprised me. He's played good at wing, and he can win some faceoffs, and he can play.
I'll tell you, a week and a half ago, the Blues weren't sure if they were going to keep him up here. A week and a half ago, they were trying to decide what they were going to do with him then.
Oh, I think they could, Josh. You're almost like an ant. You're like the anti-fan, man. You feel like the anti-fan, the guy that when they do bad always says they're going to do bad, and you say they're going to do bad, so when they do good, you can go, yeah, see, I said they would do good. Right? You flip-flop. And when they have a bad, oh, see, I told you all along they were going to suck. That's what you feel like to me, Josh, a little bit. Right? I hate to do that, but that's what you feel like. Okay, guys, we're going to call it a show. Wendy, thanks so much. Lance, thanks so much. This is Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan for Windy City Hockey, and Lance Scott saying aloha mahalo, and we'll see you on the next Blue Note Fan Report. Aloha.